Welcome everyone to episode 2 of the Journey and Fields podcast. We are so glad to be here and to be filming this second episode. And we are looking forward to it. My name is Mwende.
And my name is Stella. And on today's episode, we want you to get to know just a bit about us, where the journey has started, who we are, what do we do and what do we like. I think the first thing should be, how did we meet? How did it all come to be, and now we are here? Yeah, so
Stella is actually going to tell this story because she's the one who remembered it. I remembered it very differently, so she will tell the story of how we met. Then maybe I'll see whether I should tell my version.
Yeah, I always remember. I'm the storyteller of those old movies and African stories, Nigerian movies. So
we need your memory. Thank you. It's useful here.
Yeah. So we actually met many years ago. I don't remember the year, but I think it must have been 2015, if I'm not wrong. So you had put out something, a call online for, I can't quite remember what the definition or the description was, but it was people interested in change, something. And at that time I had just done a social media course, and it was social media for social change at Global Platform. And I felt that because I had done a leadership course as well, there were so many things that I was learning and I wanted to give back. I started Dada Power Initiative just to give back to my community. And so when I saw the call, I felt, I like this, so let me just go. I must have been in second year of uni. No, I was in third year of uni. And so I showed up somewhere along Agwingskotek.
Oh yeah.
And that was the day we met, you and the other Fortitude ladies. And what was the thinking around Fortitude? And did you expect to see people? Because the same forum is when I met so many other people. And it just began being a very good forum.
I think that's like such an important memory for me because, so as Stella mentioned, I had a bit of an organization that I had started I think in 2014, 2015, which, I mean, don't ask where it is now because it's not existing. And I remember I'd put out like an open call. It was one of these events for young people. I think it was really focused on talking about politics, if I'm not wrong, and just generally leadership. And you asked me whether, like, what I was feeling about doing that. And honestly, I didn't think people would show up. First of all, those days, it was so low budget. I remember having to call my mom to make the snacks because I couldn't afford to take this thing to like a proper hotel for conferencing.
The best sandwich, guys. The best sandwich.
And her carrot cake. So thanks, mom. You really came crazy. Those
thanks,
things
mom.
helped.
Thank you.
Because I remember her being like, no, I have to wake up early to do all of this. I will do it. But you see, it was very, very helpful. So when I think about Fortitude, I keep asking myself, if I had stuck to it, where would Fortitude be now? And I can only imagine where it would be now. But I think when I think about that organization, I tell myself that, you know what, maybe that was not the time for me to do that. And I'm still glad that either way I found myself doing things that I'm passionate about, even if not necessarily with my own organization. But thank you so much for reminding me about that. In fact, you're one of the people who really keeps reminding me about that. And I've met so many people who came to those open calls for events that I had put out. And I still am connected to several of them, but also a lot of them just have a lot of feedback and say a lot of people that I met in some of these events, we've retained a friendship. So and that's how we met.
And it just hit me. It's 10 years later because we met in 2015 and here we are now.
Another reason to celebrate. Maybe this is why we started this podcast at this time.
Oh that's an encouragement. That's an encouragement.
A decade celebration.
It is. And many years later, we've done so many things together. I remember I think months after that, I was invited to speak on a forum on youth and radicalization. At that time, there was a lot of conversations about radicalization, and Shefa and I had been invited to this forum at Technical University of Kenya. We call it TUK. And you came to actually support, and you brought more sandwiches, or I think we went to your mom's and I had more. I don't remember, but I just know that I ate those good sandwiches. What else have we done? We've worked together before. And we still do actually in many ways.
Yeah.
And we've conversed a lot about what we need to do in platforms. We've sat on a board together. So
Panels.
on panels
Oh,
together, we
yeah.
just
Yeah.
spoke on a panel the
Yeah.
other day, and you're a fire moderator.
Thank you,
fire
thank you.
fire
I'm
mama,
taking the
fire
flowers.
mama, yeah. And we are here now doing a
Yeah.
podcast together, which is amazing.
Yes, so that's actually what our journey has been.
Yeah.
And I'm really so glad actually that we've talked about that, because it's a good memory to see how far we've come from. All the dreams, the ambitions that we had. I mean, we never even thought that we would even be where we are. So that was a good thing to just do an exercise to sort of go back to the roots of where we met.
The journey.
Yeah, the journey.
And the fields.
Oh, 'cause the fields are so many. The number of times
The
we called
journey
each
and the
other
yes.
to run.
Yes.
Yeah, so really looking forward to also just talking a bit more about some of the things that we've mentioned, because I think that is where the journey is. Even for us to be sitting here together today, I mean, I feel like we've gone through a lot generally together, and we've helped each other through a lot. So
We have,
yeah,
we
we're
have.
looking forward to talking more about some of those things.
Yeah.
And also now moving on, Stella, what was your dream job as a kid?
So
jobs.
I had 2 dream jobs, but I think it happened each after the other. So the first job I know that I really admired when I was a child was a nurse. And now thinking about it, I think I really used to like jobs where I saw people being so clean and looking so good, and clearly I looked up to women, because most nurses in
Yeah.
Kenya up until now are women.
Actually across the world.
Yeah.
It's like there's some statistics around that. Remember, I worked in an organization that was working in
true.
with women in
Yeah,
health.
yeah,
And
but
over 70% of the workforce generally across the globe is
Yeah,
women
yeah.
in the health sector.
Yeah, and it's a care sector, so and which is why we need to invest more in women and their journeys and the narratives that we tell. Looking back, would I be a nurse? I don't think so. I don't think I'd ever be a great nurse, to be honest. I fear blood, I fear injections.
Oh, yeah.
Anything to do with hospitals really freaks me out. And I happen to also have worked in a hospital at some point in my life when I was a care worker, I remember.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm not set out to be a nurse. And then the other one was I wanted to be a nun for the longest, a Catholic nun.
Damn. How are you doing with that?
Shout out to my mom. Who was also very encouraging of the whole process. But I really wanted to be a nun. And thinking about it now, I think it's because of how they used to arrive in a clean vehicle during the mass, the service, and then their dresses, very nice dresses, very smart, good colors, well presented, graceful. You know, they were just so chilled, and they didn't look like they had any stress in their lives.
True.
And then they would make good sisters, you know. And I remember at one point we went to a sister's house, a residence. It was it was the cleanest place I had ever seen all my life, and I was like, can actually be me. And I moved on to serve in so many places in church as an altar girl, as chairperson of a club for CA.
Okay.
Of course, looking back,
The common
dreams
thread
change.
actually between the nurse and the nun is service of the people. So, maybe it's about
Love that,
It's
sis,
about the quality rather than the fact that you're not in either of those professions.
Okay.
You can think about what you see
I
in
love that.
yourself in what you do.
I'm encouraged.
That is nun-like, and what is nurse-like.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we should do an episode of you and your many careers that you have had in this world.
Many careers.
Yeah, you've been an actor.
Oh,
You've
wow.
You've done a lot of things.
Okay.
Yeah.
We will. Change of careers, and we need to talk about it actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's me. So what did you want to be?
Oh wow. I wanted to be a traffic police woman. It looked like a cool job. I mean,
I think it still is.
but the sun.
Or should be. It should be.
It should be. But you see, I think some of these things then bring the questions of, because these are public servants. When you look at how they're being paid, how they're being treated, I mean, you find that people would want to do some of these jobs, but then you come and see that, actually, there's a lot of things that could affect how you enjoy your life and experience your career.
Yeah.
And I think that's a conversation for another day, because for me, I feel like cops, teachers, nurses should be some of the highest paid people in
Absolutely,
this world. I
I
mean,
agree.
I would be not
Doctors,
seated here
yeah.
knowing English if it were not for a teacher. You know the way, even, I'm not a parent, but you know the way parents say, they have learned not to argue with a child when they say, you know, teacher said. So imagine that kind of influence.
Yeah.
You know, doctors, nurses, they save lives. I mean, what an important job.
Yeah.
Cops keep us safe. I mean, you can only imagine the amount of things that they've really protected us from. But yeah, that is what I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I think I just saw it. I found it so cool that they could stop cars and people listen. Boss
moves.
Maybe that was
that's why you're such a boss babe.
But I mean, in this moment right now, I don't know whether I would do that as a career. But I think the other thing that also influenced me was I really loved a lot of investigative shows. And actually one of the courses, yes, I still do. And one of the courses that I really contemplated doing in university was criminology. So I would have been like, a criminologist in that field, because those things fascinate me, but I don't know whether they would have been viable careers in Kenya. In fact, maybe I need to go and do some of that research.
But you are not so far. You are not so far from being one, because you studied.
Yeah,
I mean, looking at what you studied, law. Plus,
but I don't even practice. I mean, I'm a lawyer that doesn't practice, so I'm not even sure.
But you will deal with criminals anyway.
Anyway, in one way or the other. At least I am not the criminal.
All right.
So that's what I wanted to be.
Yeah. So, what's something that you're so grateful for in this season?
Wow. I think for me, I'm grateful that I'm sort of exercising mindfulness. I'm one of those people who has a racing mind. At any given point, I could be thinking about, I don't know, like that movie that I saw, that child was really sad. And it's a movie, it's real life. So I'm very prone to overthinking. I'm very prone to, thinking the worst. So right now I'm grateful that I've figured out how to be a bit more mindful. Of course, I had some external support to figure that out. But even learning tips, like when you're feeling overwhelmed, try and I forgot what they call that exercise, but where you try and identify 5 things that you can see, maybe 4 things that you can smell, 3 things that you can touch, because the time it takes you to do that, it helps your brain stop thinking, because you definitely have to focus on identifying those things. So it helps you be a bit more present. So even if you are panicking over something, you automatically calm down. And I think for me, given that overthinking has been something that I've really battled with a lot, I'm grateful that right now I've gotten to that point where I recognize that I'm doing it, and I try to calm myself down.
I like that, because and that you acknowledge external help, because most times as women we feel that I don't want help. Actually, even men, most people feel I don't need help. So for me, what I'm most grateful for in this season, I would say I'm grateful for this era I am in. I definitely know that I am in an era. I am in my daring era. I feel that I want to dare more. I want to try things more. I want to try myself more. You know what you say, you tell people, try me. I'm like, actually, Stella, try me when I'm looking at myself in the mirror. And I'm in that season where I want to just try the things that I've always said I want to do. I don't like being recorded on video, on anything, I don't want to watch myself, but here we are. And so many other things. I didn't like strength training, now I'm doing it. Just going all out with the things that I've always wanted to do, or that I've always second-guessed myself in. And I like it. And perhaps it's the guts and the nerves, so maybe that's what I should be very grateful for. But I'm grateful for this era. I'm grateful for the community I enjoy and the spaces that we are in. But bottom line, it boils down to how I feel and the dare spirit that is in me. I
feel like I'm grateful for more than one thing, because I'm also grateful in the way that you're grateful. And when you kind of watch, even if it's YouTube channels, or interact with any content that has been put out there about getting into your 30s and whatever, I mean, that's the one thing I'm like, thank God that hapa.
We are no longer in our 20s.
And I'm no longer in my 20s.
That's an episode again that we should do on, how do the 30s feel, 30s versus 20s, and okay.
Because I think the one thing is, it's the reminder that, you know what, actually I'm in control of my life. And I think that's the biggest thing. So even when we talk about the overthinking, the mindfulness, the whatever, now even remembering that, you know what, I'm in control of my life. And I think it took a bit of time to get here, but I am here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what more sort of unfolds for me.
Yeah, and you two, sis, are in control of your life. True. No one is, your life is yours.
You can
my life is mine. Actually, same honors, same honors. Same honors.
Unless you're a doctor refusing to treat a patient, no one will die.
Oh, by the way, I think this morning I was reading something on Threads, and somebody said, ladies, please share what you're doing to tap into your feminine energy. And somebody wrote, I'm saying more no's. And I was like, wow. It's really good that we are saying more no's.
That feminine energy is another episode by itself. Okay.
How many episodes have we mentioned?
We mentioned so many.
Okay. We have content.
You should take notes.
Okay. All right. If you could change one bad habit, what would it be?
Wow. I've already talked about the overthinking, so let me talk about something else. I think for me it would be the not trying something, because I feel like some things feel like a mountain to climb, yet maybe they're just like a stone in your path that you can just kick out. So I think for me that's the thing. Procrastination. I mean, Stella, but even you, you're a procrastinator, because look at how you're deciding the name that needs to film me. Okay,
I would have said queen of, but you can't use queen and procrastination at the same time.
I mean, but you're still excelling in something.
I'm still pushing something.
So I think for me, it's just that procrastination that I feel like I really need to try and attempt things. Even if I feel like, oh, this might be too difficult for me to do, at the very least, let me attempt. And I need to do that a bit more. That's why it's a bad habit I need to drop. And that's what I'll do to try and drop it.
Oh, mine is, I need to drop it like today, which is one, snoozing my alarm. Are you judging?
I mean, she was late today, so guys.
No, I wasn't late. No.
Are you seeing how?
First, I'm a timekeeper, so but I was. And the second one is not checking my phone when I wake up, because the days that I don't, I'm like, I wake up with such good vibes, good energy. Just doing the right things, really. Spending more time meditating about things that are going through my mind on the Word of God, which I know is like the best foundation for my day. But if I can stop snoozing, that would be great. So I need to stop.
I mean, the other thing, I don't snooze. I'm an early riser, so most times I wake up before the alarm.
Must be nice.
I have no problem.
Must be nice waking up without an alarm. Must be nice. What's something that's currently occupying your mind?
Oh wow, that is. Do we have time?
Well, you can give us one.
The one thing that I'm looking at is the situation and what is happening in the US. I mean, I can't wait for a time when Africa will be a bit more independent and we are not affected by the actions and decisions of leaders in the global north. Because in the field that I work in, a lot of people have lost their jobs due to funding cuts. And in some ways people say, Africa, we have the resources, we can do all of those things. And in our world, we keep talking about how funding might not always be available. But I feel like this is one of the first times we have really seen how this can affect people at scale. And, I sit back and I wonder whether sometimes the global north knows or really reflects around how their actions affect other people in the world. Now we are seeing mask fighting. Well, I don't know what's happening, but anyway, I'm watching on X. So, those are just some of the things that I'm thinking about, because they look like they had such a solid front. It's just a few months in, and now clearly, wana nikana. So, Let's just see how that goes. But I'm really continuing to think about the effects and the long-term effects generally. And tied to that, it's also how do we get to a point where Africa can really utilize its own resources to serve itself and its people.
Yeah, you spoke about two things that I really want to share, but just talking about what's on my mind, and it's definitely linked to what you just talked about in terms of the US. What's been occupying my mind lately is the condemnation used on women as emotional leaders. Oh. And every time I look at the US president, I'm like, what is this? You know, and I look at the situation in Kenya, not just with our president, but with all male leaders that we have in Kenya. What is that if it's not emotions? I mean, they actually lack the emotion needed to lead this country. And so, top of my mind right now is we need to get more women in leadership. And we must stop this nonsense of telling women that, oh, you know, you can't lead, you're so emotional, or just coming for them because they emotionally express themselves. Yet we've seen this other side. And I mean, there's nothing better being offered. And in any case, okay, fine, can we lead more, even if with our emotions, so that maybe we get to empathize more with people. But yeah, we must stop this lie that women cannot lead because they're emotional. Well, we've seen the emotional side of men as well in leadership. Well, so far it's not serving us, so we might as well, embrace the emotional great leaders in women, you know. True. But the whole point is we need more women, and we must do something, even as a podcast, even as a platform, to push for more women in leadership and to remove all the barriers or the narratives or the stereotypes about women, and to remind women that, sis, wake up,
you can do it.
Let's go. And even if you feel like it's the end, sis, we are here, we are cheering you on, and it's okay, you don't have to be perfect. They said you're emotional? Haha, they've been emotional before. You can do it. Yeah.
And I think the thing for me is those are things people say to pit people against each other, because the way that I look at it, it's a character trait. It's not necessarily I mean, there are women that are not emotional or do not portray their emotions in the way that,
we expect as society.
We expect. And I think that's the thing that people don't realize, because for me, even when people start saying, I mean, we've had this women rep seat, what have they done?
And now we need men. And now we need men as, that's what they say, that now we need men as women reps.
And not even that, it's also, who are you comparing them to? You're comparing them to the people that are leading corruption scandals. You're comparing them to the leaders that have done nothing for their communities.
Right.
So I mean, they barely had a chance to even do what they need to do. And even Kenya has barely had a chance to experience that role in its entirety.
Exactly,
so, I mean, I feel like if we can just be a bit more empathetic and see the best in people, we will get so much further, generally as a society or as people. But I know that core ground literally different. So it's kind of, there's a long way to go, but also maybe it's not that long, especially now that there's a huge radical population, let me just say that, and to say the least.
Right,
Okay, all right then, so moving on, what is one skill you'd like to improve on or learn this year?
So I won't even say improve on, but that I need to learn. One is embracing this new era, embracing this season of going out and doing the things that I want to do, especially the things that have caused me fear in the past. So I think the skill or the knowledge or like the tactic and strategy is just doing it, saying yes to myself more is so important. And I also need to save my life swimming. So I'm doing that soon.
Okay, all right. Maybe I can teach you how to swim. At least swimming is one skill I know. I know quite well. For me, I think it would be at a quality level or a value level. I want to stop worrying more about what people will say or what people think. So that's the first thing. And I'm saying I need to learn it, because me, I'm those kind of people who will go home and be like, why did I say that? Like, huyu mtu alinibebaje.
I know,
And you
right?
see,
Yeah.
it takes away so much of your energy when you really worry about what other people are saying.
Yeah.
But outside of that, a skill that I think I want to improve on, or something that I want to do more this year, is I want to be outdoors a bit more. So maybe more hikes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been saying this for a while, so I need to just sign up for the first hike.
Yeah.
Yeah, or maybe I just go and hike on that hill there, because I don't want to commit to like Elephant Hill. I might like collapse.
Oh yeah,
on the way
I have
there.
never been. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I really want to try and do a bit more outdoor stuff. Just be there, be present, connect with nature.
Yeah.
Because I'm really learning that nature and human beings are meant to be together, and nature is actually healing, and I want to see what nature has to offer me.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm saying this as someone who really does not like hiking. You know, there's one of these workplaces that I've worked at, and I remember for our team activity, team building, we went for a hike, a 1 week hike, where we had no phones. You started the hike on day one with all the food that we were going to eat for the 7 days. And let me tell you, I did not enjoy that. I've never gone on any hike since then. But now I want to get back to it, because before then I was very active with the outdoor stuff.
Yeah. I also have hiked once, and I wanted to ask you, do you have friends who hike? But I've only hiked Mount Longonot, and it was my last year in uni. I think I was more
You're
active,
more,
and I really struggled. So
try.
yeah, I would also want to hike, but I'm not sure of any very, very high things. But
Don't
yeah.
worry.
So all the best. Let me know how it
We'll
goes.
figure it out.
Yeah. So last one, if you could use one superpower to change today's Africa, what would it be?
Wow. The unserious one is that I wish I would be invisible, so that I can go rob a bank and use that money to fund the leaders that we need.
Yeah.
Because a huge reason why sometimes the good people that we know would make very good leaders don't make it to these political seats is because, I mean, let's say for example at the party nomination level, if you don't have money, my friend, you will not make it.
Right.
So I would be curious to see
unfortunate,
if money is placed in the hands of the right people that are able to campaign, that they're first of all even able to get through the party nomination bit, and then at least get on the ballot, and they have the money to campaign, and then do what they need to do. I'd really be curious to see the change that can be delivered for us. Now that's the unserious one, being a robber. But I think on a more realistic level, or in terms of so that God is not like, girl, I mean, I'm giving you a finger, you want to take the whole hand. I would wish that people are able to just start and just do things, because there's a lot of good ideas. I mean, honestly, we have a lot of ideas.
So many,
There's so many reasons why these ideas do not come to fruition. I mean, of course, I know the money aspect or the resources aspect is one of them, but outside of that, the biggest chunk of it is fear.
Yeah.
So I would create a fearless nation.
I like that, because it's in line with what I was going to say. For me, I would enter everyone's body or spirit and cause them to be more confident, because we have so much, we have more than enough, but we really lack confidence in how we express ourselves, in how we speak for our countries, in how we negotiate for our countries, even how we show up. I mean, how many years did it take you, or it took me so many years to know that my thick African hair was actually great hair, and it looked good, because I hate blow dry. I hated it back then. I hated the heat. It wasn't, I mean, I just didn't like it. And neither did I like chemical on my hair. So I remember saying, no, I don't want, at some point my mom asked, do you want us to palm your hair, or do you want a pair of shoes? There were like these trendy sandals, and I said, I want shoes.
Give me the shoes.
It never occurred to me that I would ever have palmed hair, you know. And even in the clothes, our fashion, how we express ourselves, because we are bold. Our culture is so bold, and it's full of color and enthusiasm and, vibes. We are full of vibes. Our dance. So I just want every African to know that everything we grew up knowing about, our good things and our resources, our way of life, our food, how we express ourselves, our local languages, it's actually the best. It's the best, and nobody should make us think that it's not the best, you know. So yeah, I wish I could just make everybody know that, and then maybe we would dance more, maybe we would come together more, maybe we would go back to those days where people would enjoy bonfires almost every day after work, and they had time for work. Because there's one quote that I really like, which says, rest is part of the resistance. That you can still resist by resting and pausing and getting to know people for who they are, but capitalism lies to us that, you know, we have to work until we die, and then when we die we can rest. Like, what the hell? So
what are you working for then?
As Africans, we must remember that we have what it takes to live the best version of our lives, and we don't have to go outside of our countries, and we don't have to even school outside of our countries. But now we mostly think that, and it's true, honestly, most schools outside of our countries are really good schools, and it's mostly because of bad leadership that our schools are not well equipped. So that's what I'll do with my superpower.
I mean, if only we had the opportunity to see these superpowers come to fruition. But I mean, I really, really like that, because basically what both of us are saying is that we can figure it out, and Africa is okay, there's no problem. So we ideally should not be listening to whoever or anyone trying to insinuate that Africa is not okay. We can figure out things. We just need to sort of get to that space, mindset, and it's very difficult, and that's the thing. These things are very difficult because you've talked about capitalism, and like even last year when you look at things like Maandamano, there are people who just didn't go, and maybe they would have wanted to go, but they're like, if I don't go to work,
my family will not
day of work. My child might be kicked out of school because that day's salary is contributing to the fees. And I think capitalism also plays a huge part in it, and I think all the other things around that is generally even how we experience our lives. Almost all of it goes back to how the government serves its citizens. Because when you were talking about how, like, in the evening people used to catch up in the village, even if it's not in the village, in the estate, wherever you live. These days, is
why is the time? Why is the time?
For 3 hours or 2 hours, you don't even want someone to talk to you, and then people are saying that neighbor is always rude, but it's not that I'm rude or that someone is rude. They're tired. They just want to go and sleep. So I feel like hopefully when we get to that point where we have provision of good services, generally people will just live a happier life, because the things to worry about will be less and less.
And also, until we have that, we can't afford to be inactive citizens. We can't afford to be quiet about what's going on, especially in Kenya, you know. So if you're not able to join a protest, and for sure we know and we hold space for those who can't, because we know that not everyone is able to do that. In one way or another, there is something that you can do. In one way or another, there's a way you can exercise your citizen duties. You know, you can educate yourself about the role of your member of county assembly, your MCA, your MP, your governor. You can ask questions even online, you know. Just educating yourself and educating the people around you is actually a form of civic duty.
That's also resistance.
Actually calling out bad citizenship or inactive citizenship in your own family is a way of exercising your civic duty. So we all have power to change things one step at a time, you know, one conversation at a time, and it's much better than just being quiet and, you know, wallowing and thinking that there is nothing much that you can do.
Now watu wachukue kura. I'm even saying it in Swahili, because
tafadhali,
if you don't have a vote, you and you're over 18, I'm judging you.
Please let's we have to do something about we have to do something about what's happening to our communities, to our country, to our continent, to the world. And we have to say no to oppression. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you enjoyed. And we hope that you can join us for the next episode. And maybe also let us know, what would you like to know? What are you curious about? What would you like to hear based off of the conversations that you've seen? And we hope to keep engaging, keep feeding each other, keep inspiring each other. We want to hear from you, so please comment on the different platforms that you're listening or watching us from. And we promise to do our best as well to keep engaging you.
And we shall see you at the next one.
Bye.
Bye.